Birds of Prey, issue 21, legacy number 219, Kelly Thompson writing with Sami Basri on the art. So last issue kind of lured all the various team members into different situations, notably Barda getting trapped and shot into the moon, and what turned out to be a rocket that wasn't a building. So we kind of pick up with that, and it feels like this arc, if nothing else, is Kelly Thompson setting up the evil Birds of Prey, or the anti-Birds of Prey, whatever you want to call it. What could it be called? What's the opposite of Birds of Prey in terms of like the animal kingdom?
I don't know. They don't really have a direct opposite, do they?
Fish of Steel. I don't know. Birds usually catch worms. What about Worms United? I don't know. Anyway, don't take these suggestions.
I think Birds of Prey go for something a bit more ambitious than worms usually.
I suppose. All right. Bird hunters. I don't know. There's something. Kelly will come up with something. I trust her.
To be honest, maybe not going with bird hunters, but something along the lines of hunting probably works.
Aye. Wing clippers.
There's a reason you're not in charge of these decisions.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm not in charge of these decisions. So yeah, we start with all the various characters in their own situations. Black Canary, Dinah, is fighting Copperhead next to these fancy stealth tech suits that she was kind of guarding at this show. And she wants to, Babs is telling her to ditch the fight. Everyone should come in because we've got like a code black. Bard is in trouble. And Canary's like, screw that, I'm not letting Copperhead get this tech. She kind of comes to regret that a little bit later. But that's kind of her attitude. Meanwhile, we got, what's it? Magira. I'm trying to remember the name of the entity part side of her. And Cass are in the sewers with two characters who I could not name for the life of me. Are they new? I don't know. But it's like a tiger-based lady, and I guess the guy's got a cat mask kind of thing on as well.
I was wondering if it was supposed to be a version of Tigress.
Does Tigress usually have like a partner though?
I think she has done in the past, but not consistently.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but that said though, one of my favorite pages of this book are in this scene because it's Cass dealing with the fact that this cat lady is very fast, right? Maybe not speedster fast, but like quicker than a normal human, and she kind of gets the wind kicked out of her a little bit. And there's this full page that shows Cass still kind of losing, but like over the course of the page, she kind of like catches her like her pacing, like she kind of like starts to adjust to like how quickly this woman's moving, and puts her foot out and trips her at the end. It was like, it's funny that in the week that Batgirl was a little disappointing because it was doing the flashback story, this gave me a really cool scene that made Cass look such a badass, because she's like, okay, faster enemy, I'm struggling to deal with this, but then she just sort of like tries to like, take a breath, gauge how quick she's moving, how much she has to adjust for that, and then from that point on, when this villain tries to like hit her again, like Cass just like punches her in the face, and it's actually quite sad, to the point where she's like, hey, honey, actually, what you call him? Laurent. That's the guy's name apparently. Laurent, help me. She's kicking my ass. I don't know. I found that very satisfying. I like those couple of pages.
I would. Is French Laurent?
Laurent? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been playing Expedition 33. I just want to start saying
everything Frenchy. Yeah.
Mon ami, you've not got there, but time for a swim. You'll like that when you get to that.
I unlocked the first baguette outfit, and I was like, it's a good job this is made by French people, otherwise this would feel very racist. Like calling it baguette was a choice.
I love how they decided to obviously do the main language in English. They made that conscious choice, but it's almost like they said, okay, but if we're doing that for mass appeal, we're putting as much French shit in this as we possibly can to make everyone sure they know that this is French.
It's so aggressively French that it's like a slap in the face with a baguette.
So anyway, your cast like wins this fight, throws her into the other bad guy, and grabs Megara and gets them out of dodge. Is Babs back at comms is like getting really frustrated, and she eventually sees like a ping back in the monitor that Bard is back on the radar, and it's because she's descending into orbit. She's coming down through the atmosphere and crash lands somewhere near Dubai, or as they put it, somewhere that's still not quite Dubai, as they phrase it.
Definitely not Dubai for legal reasons.
Yeah. So she lands and like, is she dead? And it's like, and this villain here, who later we find out is Ink, or Inkway, maybe.
Or ink. Her powers are kind of inky, I guess.
That's why I was thinking it was just ink, but there's those extra couple of vowels at the end where I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's like QUE, but
yeah,
I could still call it ink.
Yeah, so she does something where she eventually, I mean, she tries shooting Barda, that doesn't work, but she like cuts her open with her like ink blade that she forms out of her hand, and she's like, okay, that got us in. So we come back to that for the cliffhanger, but that's something that happens there. Canary keeps fighting Copperhead. All these drones come in, these like nanobot drones come in, and basically like she does her canary cry, but it's not enough to stop them, and these nanobot things just take the suits, and maybe even Copperhead as well. They're just gone, and it's like, okay, she stayed and fought Copperhead, but she didn't achieve anything, and all the people she cares about are still in trouble. So you know, she puts Batgirl puts out the call to the rest of like the reserve units. So we see like Vixen and, you know, Zealot and a bunch of the others get the call saying, hey, come
Harley,
in.
which sort of makes sense. And then just Constantine at the end. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, he popped up in the book before, so
he did, but I just think it's funny that he gets drafted with all the other birds.
Yeah. So we kind of meet like the villain, this group now, who are got a base in Gotham, and we get this, was it Damon, or do you pronounce it Demon?
Probably Demon, but yeah, probably Demon.
Yeah,
like it's one of those where, depending on the story, like in general, I've seen that pronounced both ways. Like you just kind of take your choice. I will say, first huge negative of this series for me, hate the lettering of this character. It's hard to read. Like it's like aggressive on my eyes. I really don't like it.
I find that happens a lot in Comics From The with the characters that are meant to have like a sort of robotic kind of look to their dialogue, and so they'll do something like this, and it almost always is kind of annoying to read.
Yeah, I think the green on the black doesn't help. And then just everything about it.
Because there was a character in the IDW Turtles book which I read a good chunk of. There was like a robot character, and it wasn't like saying much that often in the regular book, but there was like one shots that each character got a one shot, and he got one. And I remember looking at the first page of that one shot where I was like, oh wait, it's going to be him talking the entire time, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm not reading that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this film. Like, yeah, I really don't like reading this.
Yeah, but this is like the anti-Oracle, this demon character, and
Demon Prime.
Demon Prime, and the others come in and like they're kind of celebrating because this was a success. And the big reveal at the end is that this Ink character comes in looking like a it's almost like she's consumed Barda, or she's like possessed Barda, because Barda now looks like she's just like a black ink style visual, but she's in the shape of Barda. And she says, oh, this feels incredible. These new gods are underrated. So it seems like she's got the power now of Barda, and she's like taking control of her body. That's the kind of the vibe I got here at the end of this.
Yeah, I got that as well. Apparently this Ink character's from Future's End stuff. So I guess some people do know something about her, but...
that's fair. I cannot say I remember anything from Future, if I even read Future's End, to be honest.
I'm just looking at it now. She was in the Batman Beyond stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Even if I had read that, the chances of me remembering it would be pretty slim anyway, but I'm pretty sure I didn't read that.
Yeah, this description of her on League of Comic Geeks says she is the former arch enemy of Terry McGinnis.
Okay. This is where I admit to have only seeing the movie from Batman Beyond. I never saw the show.
Yeah, I never did Beyond. I mean, I assume that means she was in the show and not just a
She probably
creation
was.
for the comic.
I suspect she's probably like a Harley Quinn type character, and not in like personality, just in the sense that she was in the animated series and then she's popped up in the comics like after the fact.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I thought this was a fun issue. I get it complete with the lettering on the villain. There's a couple things I liked about it. I like Babs kind of freaking out and like treating this very seriously. I also quite liked the kind of the concern, like Canary's narration is she's sort of like, oh, like I'm trying to feel like, oh, my sister's probably safe, but also whoever this enemy is just took out Barda, who's like the toughest one we have. So it's hard to sort of keep myself cool in that, you know, consideration. I will say that the last issue was probably better overall, just because I think the build up to Barda's like the, you know, the twist that they were ready for Barda and had like this ridiculous plan to try and deal with her. I thought was a really good reveal in that last like chunk of the issue. I don't think this issue has quite the same sort of like payoff to it. Like, I mean, it's solid everything that it does, but I don't think it has quite the same excitement as you realize the plan is unfolding kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's like a really solid issue, but I don't think it has quite the same excitement.
Okay, all right. Well, what you rating Birds of Prey?
I'll give it a 7, and I'm probably knocking half a point off for that lettering choice.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, structurally, it's just not as sound as the last one, which makes me think I'm going like a 7.5. I think. I really dug the last issue though, and the way it built up to those reveals with Barda. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do now that they've kind of established this threat, and we can see like how they sort of play off of each other.